Good evening, and welcome to the Psychic Coffee Shop's Mountain Bears. I'm Aeson, and of course with me tonight is Techy Joe. How are you, dear? What are you up to?
Doing great. How are you this evening?
Oh, I'm getting bitchy. I'm at that point today. You know, some of the news has been ridiculous. Well, the news is being ridiculous in general. It is not news that Justin Bieber had an April Fool's joke.
Well, yeah, there's that, but come on. Then that wasn't even the worst of today. Like, come on. Like, can we just talk about, when windmills give you cancer?
I want to know how they give you cancer. Because if so, the Midwest should have died ages ago.
You would think there would be a lot less people from Holland.
You would, because they also have them there. But no, the Midwest is using them to pump water for freaking, beyond eons.
Yes. It's great. I'm just sitting here like, wait, what? I think that's even his followers, his little horde, has got to go, okay, just a minute. Did he just say?
Right.
Like, maybe this is not the smartest man in the room.
Well, we knew he wasn't the smartest.
Well, yeah, we knew that.
You don't send the smartest people to military school.
You
send the
I know it was
ones
a
that
threat
need
from
to
my
go
father.
there. Huh?
It was a threat when it came out of my father's mouth.
Yeah, I was like, you didn't get sent to military school.
Yeah, I'd already figured out a few things by then. I was like, send me. Please.
Mm-hmm.
With lube.
But, So, they finally got the Mueller report.
Well, yes, they've finally gotten that. I don't know that we're ever going to get to see it. Oh,
we'll get to see it. Probably not when it matters anymore.
Well, this is true.
We got to see Watergate paperwork after Watergate was over. I mean, heck, you can Google it now and find out the news.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder what alternative facts will be in the published public area one, and what will actually be sent. Of course, I think Mueller's going to write a book. And if he is, we need to get him on the show.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I think that would be great for Coffee Shop. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Of course.
Yeah. Though, something tells me that book is just going to be, written from a mental institution at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's, can you imagine, all the crap this guy's gone through to investigate this and then to release the report and, no. No one needs to see that, thanks. What?
Mm-hmm.
Really? If I were to build a computer and go through a horrible time building this computer, and then the client is like, no, we don't need it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then I foresee it coming up on my desk.
Oh, that would be if I could make it home without launching them at them. I'm sorry, I am an IT guy,
I know. I can hear the screaming phone call now, and I will go, well, honey, just bring it on home. Just bring it on home. Things will be perfectly okay.
Yes, it will. It will. But, yeah. Oh,
I especially need use of a desktop.
Well, you have a desk now.
I know.
Come on, tell us. tell everyone about your desk.
Well, guys, I find, I've been really problematic in finding a desk because I actually wanted a real desk. A desk that I could sit down at, I could write at, I could use the laptop as a desktop. I had places to sit manuals and stuff at. And apparently, I don't know who the world is designing desks today. They don't have a clue what anyone does with them. Like, they never have used the desk they have designed.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's like the bigger issue is there's effectively 3 markets for desks right now. There's this kind of student desk kind of thing, which is somewhere between absolute bare bones, like $35, and it's just like 2 shelves and a desktop, and it's 18 inches. Up to the little, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a little 1 drawer. It's not a keyboard drawer, but it's a 1 drawer, just big enough to set a laptop and like a fake plant on. Like, that's one segment. Then there's the writer desk thing, which you had, which still, I mean, that's barely enough room to pay your bills on. Like, if you were to sit there with a stack of envelopes, the checkbook, and outgoing mail and some stamps, that's it.
Idiot. That would be it.
And yeah, and those 2 are right there, and they're like, there's that segment, and then the and then the writer's desk, which is kind of almost right there. You could really call it one segment. And then the flip side of it is like full knockout office. It's like you have an 8x10 room at least, and you need a desk. And it's like, no, I need something in between. Just something in between. I don't need all of that, and I need way more than that. Yeah, there's, and that's been like an ongoing issue. And that's even been a problem for offices. It really has been. Like, some of the corporate furniture that I've seen, some people, it's like they get so excited they finally get their office, and it's like, I'm now in a closet because my desk takes up my office. Like, this is the only thing in there.
There used to be a thing in offices about how big the desks were. The bigger the desk, the more important you was.
I know, but this is beyond. I mean, no, I get that. I do. Yeah, this is way past that. Because then turn around, and then you have the people that are in a shared space. And it's like, if you're an office looking to not do the cube farm, you don't get a lot of options anymore.
What I'm seeing a lot in corporate offices nowadays look like cafeteria tables with chairs. I know. Can you imagine trying to work with that? I would have killed people.
Yeah, no, that's just kind of nuts. But I can understand. Well, and I know there are some offices, especially small businesses, they'll just start buying 8-foot collapsible tables. We're going to fill the space with 8-foot tables. And it's like, oh, those are the worst desks. That, like, I understand why. I do. I get it. I get why people do the 8-foot table. Those are the worst desks. They really
are. So
I mean,
we finally found me a desk. This was after extensive shopping, and me going, no. Is that even a desk? My bureau is larger than that.
Juxtaposed with, it's only $3,000 and would take up the living room.
Yeah.
Like, that's been the back and forth. It really has been. Like, and at one point, I was like, I will buy you whatever you want. You need a decent desk. And then it's like the option span was between, like, $99 for nothing and $3,000, and we have to do a home edition. And I'm like, when I said you could spend as much as you wanted to, I did not mean to include a home edition. You know,
I don't want a home edition. I want a whole building.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You know, we're working on it,
but
we're trying.
I know. We're trying one thing at a time. It'll get there. I have to remember to breathe. And, you know, for right now, we found me a great desk for $30 at Goodwill. And he looked at me.
Yeah.
I think we both looked at each other and went, are we, you know, is this right? First of all, I was questioning the price. And then I was questioning the size. Because this one's literally the perfect size for anywhere I go, any office that I take on. You know, because we've had the debate of, do I build me a home office outside? Or do I go ahead and rent me an office out of the house?
Yes.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah,
and,
that's an ongoing discussion. Especially, well, okay, let's fill you guys in. There's a caveat here. We would have already done the building thing, as in we were going to go out, do a building, bring it to us, set it up in the backyard, we're good to go. We'll deal with making a little breezeway to it later. This was our game plan. And then there was a sudden realization that we have a small problem. And small is the correct word for it. There are 3 ways into the backyard. One of them requires a clearance from the state of West Virginia because it is a road easement. One of them requires the building basically fold up and go into a bento box. And the other one is a carport. These are the 3 means and avenues to the backyard that do not involve going through the house. Because, frankly, compared to the one side, I think we could go through the house easier. We can find you an office in a bento box. Like, maybe an inflatable office.
Looking at the total expense of $4,000. Once, we do the electric, we buy the air conditioner, heater unit, we install the coffee maker, we install the dry sink, we get the solar panels, we do the patio with the breezeway roof, and this, that, and another. That's $4,000.
Yeah, so we were going to end up at.
Price.
Well, yeah. That's where we've been with this, is it's kind of like, if it had been easier, we would have probably have done that. Granted, it's probably a good thing we didn't. Because the whole bathroom experience, that alone, that really ripped into my
hire a contractor.
Hard.
Well,
like that.
The whole
that took our budget.
The bathroom was supposed to be simple. If we had had a conservative, knowledgeable contractor, we would have had more than enough money. Because do you realize there's enough supplies to do 2 of our bathrooms?
This is true. This is true. I mean, but how upset can we get? He did leave, like, most of his tools.
Again, it was a trade-off. And he left most of the supplies. So, if we wanted to do another bathroom remodel, we have the supplies to do it.
Hey, we could build another one on.
that's part of the large-scale plan, and that's the other debate, is if we build me an outdoor office, and then in 2.5 years, like I plan on, knocking the back section of the house off and adding a wing to it, exactly how beneficial that is that.
Well, yeah, but you know what? We need the space more than we need the supply. We really do. That's where we are right now. It's, you know, we need the space more. But yes, and as of last night, we actually got the bathroom that we had done, finally got the floor clean.
Yep. Magic erasers are wonderful.
Yes, they are. They are a wonderful,
and I'm going back to my
thing.
motto. And I'm going back to my motto.
Okay.
I am not hiring a contractor younger than I am.
Oh, yeah. And it was unfortunate he wasn't even that cute to stare at.
I know.
And then the ones that really weren't cute enough to stare at wouldn't take us on because they were afraid we would stare at them.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, either that or I'm not sure if that was the case or if that was his selling point. You know, don't get too picky because you can't replace me.
Yeah, I think some of it was that. But honestly, at this point, I wish we had gone with the choice before him, who actually finished everything out. Because boy couldn't build a shelf. I look, our bathroom's not huge. It really isn't. And storage-wise, I was like, we need some storage in here. Let's build basically take an over-the-toilet shelf and then blow that up. Make it actually hold more than a roll of toilet paper. That's what I wanted. That's what I drew up. And what I got, oh my goodness. Thankfully, we salvaged that. It's now over the washer and dryer, which was helpful. Well, our laundry room is way more functional because of it. But, yeah, that shelf is special. It is, and not in a we're going to cherish it forever kind of way. No one's cherishing the shelf.
Yeah, but we also rebuilt that.
Yes. But we rebuilt it.
Yep.
We got some help from a friend. It was wonderful. He did such an amazing job.
He did. If he was comfortable with plumbing, we should have just used him. But he wasn't comfortable with the plumbing work I wanted.
But you know what? We still ended up without the plumbing work we wanted.
I know.
We still have to call a plumber back in. We still do not. All this started, can I just point out, because there was a situation with the bathroom sink, and I was like, I cannot deal. This is what started the whole remodel, and I still don't have a bathroom sink. I know, I still have to call the plumber. I've been relegated to calling plumbers.
Look, you've been relegated to calling any plumbers, repairmen, furnacemen.
And dealing with car repair.
Well, you've been dealing with car repair for a reason.
Well,
or you get on and taught a class.
Do what now?
You could have gone and taught the class, and I could have done the car repair.
Well, there's that. But no. No.
Because they don't like dealing with me.
No.
This is the reason that he deals with repairmen. He deals with contractors. He deals with all that because they don't like dealing with me.
No, they don't.
No.
Yeah, it's safer this
Because
way.
they start their sales pitch, and I'm like, I know this script. I think I heard this script 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You need a new script.
Mhm.
Why don't you try a new script?
Well, but now when they try a new script, it involves things like, headlamp fluid. And I'm like, no. I'm a little better than changing the fluid in my lights. I'm beyond. I will survive.
Well, I think my favorite one was when you took the soul in.
Oh, God.
And they said you needed a new air filter.
Mhm.
And the car had less than 10,000 miles on it.
Yep. I know. Believe me, I understand that one. I'm still a little cranky about. I don't know. There were a few things in that service I'm still a little cranky about, but I don't know. At the end of the day, I just have to kind of go, all right, well, this is where we're at.
It is. It's where we're at. It's fairly good where we're at. I have a nice operational, functional desk that has a clipboard tray. You would think something as simple as yes. Simple as a keyboard tray.
It's not a clipboard.
Well, yeah, keyboard tray. This is now a rarity. Really?
Yeah.
What are these people typing on?
Laptops. I have one of those. The whole problem. That is the whole problem with desks right now, or a large part of the problem, is so many people are switching from desktops to laptops for portability. And in that scenario, unless you do an add-on keyboard setup like you have, you don't need a keyboard tray. It's just like it stays in the box. No one ever installs it. No one wanted it. So they found they can make more money by selling it separately.
For twice the amount of the desk.
Yes. Because people who really want a keyboard tray really want a keyboard tray. Like, and they will spend the money. Like, no problem. I got to have it. Here, take my money.
Yeah.
Just take my money.
And, it's like, come on. What else was it I was bitching about we can't find? And I'm like, really? This is so silly. Oh, my cleaning totes.
Oh, yeah. Your little caddies
the things
for
that
cleaning.
You put cleaners in and carry around the house so you don't leave them all over the house. And, things like cats and dogs don't knock it over and drink it.
Yes.
Apparently that's a rarity.
Yes.
I'm like, really? Yeah. So we're holding on to those. We're holding on to dust mops. And don't even get me started on the crap that they make mops out of nowadays. And brooms.
But I have recently introduced you to dust mops. We got to point that out. You have found the newest, latest, greatest thing.
Yeah, it is the greatest thing that I've found so far in cleaning. And yeah, I do clean house. I look busy, but there's things I can do. But it gets a little aggravating when I go to find things and it's like, oh, yeah, we used to sell that. We used to make that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Have we moved into such a disposable world that you can't find cloth mops anymore? You can't find corn brooms anymore unless you're buying them from the Lions Club. You can't find the little pad things that goes on the dust mops. It's like, dear God, I have got to get a hold of my friend in England so that she can send me stuff.
Oh, dear. I don't know. For some products, I think they end up, and I know now especially, Swiffer and Roomba took over the world, and it is really hard, I think, in some regards to find, especially when technology moved in, it becomes really hard to take over it takes over, and you cannot find some of the things that it replaced because a lot of people moved over. I'm just like, I don't even want to see what the pets will do to a Roomba. I mean,
well, I think you answered that question earlier today when you were vacuuming the dining room.
Yes, and the dog tried to attack the Dyson.
He tried to eat it.
Yeah.
He was getting too close to his ball.
I know. Yes. Meanwhile, we still have
and
to
our
keep
dog
him to
doesn't
fetch.
attack anything. Literally.
Not really,
he
no.
never attacks.
No.
We can barely get him to bark. For the first 2 weeks, we thought he could not bark. If the little one doesn't bark, he doesn't even raise up.
Yes. But yeah, he's a sweetie.
He is. He's a border collie. Y'all guys know Vlad. You've seen him in the blogs. You've seen him on my Facebook. He's normally the backseat driver. But he apparently does not like the Dyson. So, no, we will not be getting a Roomba. I thought that would be awesome to have a Roomba to sweep the floors constantly and get to pet hair and take care of all the allergies. Not so much, apparently.
No, basically I can see this poor Roomba's life flash before my eyes as Vlad attacks it. Then Anna flips it over. Ollie sits on it. And then Chrissy goes through and poops on it.
Yeah, she's not going to like it one bit. As you noticed, she didn't come out for the whole vacuum ordeal.
Yeah, no, she had no part of it. And that's what I'm saying, is like, the poor Roomba's life just flashes in front of my eyes, and it's like, even if they don't destroy it, that's just sad. Like, no, we're not doing this to a Roomba. We're not doing it. And, yeah, no, Swiffer's not going to cut it. Like,
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not anything else. The Swiffer is nice, but I don't like how it makes the floor sticky.
Well, realistically, I think that's because it doesn't actually clean. Like, that's where I finally got to with Swiffer, is it just, it doesn't seem to, like, and I think part of the problem is, for those who old school mop, you're used to doing this at whatever interval you feel like. You want to mop daily, you mop daily. You want to mop weekly, you mop weekly. Monthly, whatever. It's like whatever your life level is. I'm one of those, like, I will at best mop a couple of times a month. Like that's my comfort level. I'm good. I don't spill a lot in the kitchen. Like, you know, I never really had a big issue, you know, with if I'm going to do a real traditional mop. Yeah, a couple times a month. Every 2 weeks. Yeah. Swiffer just seems to kind of need to be like every other day. Like, if you actually want Swiffer to work for you, you really have to work with it. And it has to be like every other day. And then there's a delay there before it really gets everything up. But if you try to do the every 2 week Swiffer, yeah, it doesn't work. Wet jet, whatever you want to do, it's not going to work.
No. It just reminds me of our president.
Oh, well, talking of things that don't work, or how did you
Both. Talking of things that don't work and something that's cheap and disposable.
Oh, yes. Maybe Swiffer's the inventor of its hair.
That's an idea. Maybe they're the ones that have the wig, that created the wig. Because, you know, everybody's all up in arms, and they have been for a while. You even got a set for Christmas about straws. And plastic grocery bags. And, you know, because Kroger's has now said they're moving away from grocery bags. But, you know, the plastic grocery bags are going to be no more, and you're either going to have to buy reusable, or they're going to sell you paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, I mean, unfortunately, that's where we are. A lot of our consumer packaging is, unfortunately, you get the little plastic bag, you take the little plastic bag with your stuff, you use the stuff, you throw away the plastic bag. And you keep doing that and doing that and doing that. That is a large percentage of what is in our landfills. Drink cups, plastic bags, plastic straws.
And Swiffer materials. And paper towels. Yes.
But the upside is paper towels break down a fair deal faster. Plastic, not so much. Like, I get the point. I do. It's annoying, and I get it, and I get why people are frustrated. At the same time, though, it's like, I think we're going to just have to deal. Like, get used to drinking out of a glass, you know.
No, I'm talking about the Swiffer pads. The Swiffer pads. All they are is fabric and plastic.
Well, yeah. They are.
Okay. And it's like,
basically, it's like a
can't get a straw off my Starbucks.
It's like a puppy training pad attached to the end of a stick. That's what a Swiffer is, really. It's a puppy training pad. Like, I think you could probably take a puppy training pad, put it on the end of a Swiffer, and use it, and it'll work just as well.
If not better.
Maybe. But, yeah, I think that's literally all it is. I could be wrong, but, yeah. They seem very similar.
They do, and they behave very similar. So for me, I kind of look at this and go, okay, this makes no sense. We need to get on all the boats if we're going to get on one of them. You know, you took away the cups and the packages that actually contained the food instead of having it run all over the place, because that was bad for the environment. And now we got these wax papery things that the dang sandwiches dry out in within 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. Now you're going after our straws because they're bad. Have you ever tried to drink a soda in the car without a straw?
It's a bit of a struggle, especially if you get large or whatever super mega ultra large size restaurants now have decided to offer. And a lot of that, though, one, it's the size of the container, but part two, it's the sheer amount of ice really screws with that. Like, that's more so, I think, the bigger problem is, like, I could deal with a medium cup, lot less ice. Like, just give me a drink. I can deal with that. I can deal with that and dry.
Right.
I have done it before.
Right.
But,
they need to look at other things that are using plastics than freaking straws. Like the packaging. Everything is covered in plastic.
Yes. Yeah, gotta love inventory control, which is the whole point of the giant oversized plastic packaging, is to make it harder and more conspicuous if you steal an item from a store. Again, I get the concerns with inventory control. No one's knocking that. But some of the packaging, it's like, come on. Really? Like, that doesn't need that. One of the worst offenders, for me at least, Sam's Club, some of their packaging, it's like, what are y'all doing over here? Like, I some of it I get why the packaging is as big as the packaging is. I do. But a lot of the stuff at Sam's, it's like, who is stealing this? A sumo wrestler? You expect a nice little old lady that's, checking my receipt to tackle me? Or a sumo wrestler to keep them from shoplifting the ginormous package? Like, really? I don't. It's too much. Like, a lot of that packaging is giant. It is. It's too much packaging. That's my biggest complaint with Sam's is you go in there for like 4 things and you end up leaving with a basket.
Right.
Like, you will fill up that shopping cart. And I know the quantities are large. I get that. But, I mean, like, even if you're just in some of the smaller segments of the store, like the pin set I got you. Well, $5 pin set. Came in a package, and it's 2 pins and 4 refills. Comes in a package bigger than my day planner. I'm like,
I actually used it to fit my old day planner in.
Yes.
Like to store it, my old day planner fits in it.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like that, for 2 pins and 4 refills, that's a lot of package. That's way too much. Way too much.
Right.
Yeah.
And, what I don't get is while, in 1939, the flour and the wheat and the sugar and everything came in cloth sacks. Those cloth sacks were turned into clothes and curtains and pillowcases and quilts. Matter of fact, I think we washed one that was made out of that. Just saying.
Possibly.
Why? Why can we not? Why are we not doing that? Why did we go from that to paper? Why did we go from paper to now plastic?
Yeah. Well, the progression there was with fabric packaging. It's a great thing if you are going to, reuse that packaging.
Mm-hmm.
If,
Right.
however, you're not going to do that, that is a lot of wasted resources to make those textiles. Then you turn around, okay, great big push for paper.
Right.
And that works. The only problem is that kills a lot of trees. We, at the point in which we moved from paper to plastic, we were killing more trees than we could replenish. You know, and so you turn around, we go to plastic. Honestly, at this point, while plastic was cheap and readily available then, the inputs that go into plastic, all the pollution generated, as ubiquitous as they are absolutely horrible for the environment, especially when you consider all of the resources to create this plastic bag that then turn around, end up in a landfill, and take forever to decay. We're basically at a point in which we are going to have to go to having reusable bags, which, honestly, if you look back, that's a massive throwback. All the way back to the early days of marketing. Your original grocers were most likely, at best, going to throw something in butcher paper. We're going to, at best, maybe wrap something that you were buying as a gift, and again, probably in brown paper. And that was it. You were expected to show up at your grocer with some kind of container to haul your groceries home. And it's also kind of an indictment on the way that we shop now. Previously, when you did your shopping, it would probably at best be a day or two. A lot of small grocers, a lot of people walking to the store, not a lot of bags. You weren't planning dinner for the week. You most likely didn't have a refrigerator, or, pre-icebox even. You weren't buying groceries for the week. You were buying groceries for today. And in that context, it makes it a lot easier to have a reusable container to carry your groceries back and forth.
Right.
And I think we're also seeing a shift towards that, especially when you look at things like the tiny house movement and the number of the tiny houses that barely have a refrigerator, and it's not going to hold more than a day or two's worth of food. Like, if you're talking components, good luck getting a pizza in one. It's not happening. Those refrigerators are tiny. Tiny house, tiny refrigerator. But, and that's kind of the point of the whole concept, is you're more so living in the here and now and not necessarily accumulating lots of things that, well, maybe I'll use it next week. Well, maybe I'll, get sick in a couple of months, so I need a stock of soup. And maybe all these things will happen.
Right.
Or you, as most people do, you end up with this very well-stocked pantry, and either things expire before you can use them, or they end up in a donation box. That's it.
Yeah, because you have a piece of this, piece of that, two pieces of this, none of it together.
Right. Or you've got 20 cans of Campbell's, chicken noodle soup. You overestimated how often you get sick and how long you're going to be sick for, and the fact that there's a grocery store you can go to. It's not that far away. It'll be okay. But it's also part of who, as a society, we've become in our larger
Right.
accommodations. We keep seeking to fill
Right.
the space. More space, more stuff. Again, one of the biggest tenets of the tiny house movement is
Right.
reduce. You don't need all of this crap. You can go to a store.
Right.
You can figure it out. It'll be okay. You don't
Right.
need a 6-month wardrobe. You don't need rooms you never sit in that force you to keep a job that you don't want, that you don't like,
Mm-hmm.
to earn the money to pay for the house that you don't want to be in.
Mm-hmm.
So screw it. Take the money, build the tiny house, move in, reduce your belongings down to where you fit a tiny house, and then there you go.
Uh-huh.
Not that they don't have their own drawbacks.
Well,
Like,
I'm sorry.
all of
I
this
like a tiny house.
Mm-hmm.
I like a tiny house. I could fit into a tiny house. However, nothing else could.
No, that's basically the point. It's honestly the best description of a tiny house I've ever heard is it's a closet where you sleep.
Right.
That's it.
And
that's
I
the
could
whole point.
And I could be happy with that as long as I had a tiny office that was separate from the tiny house.
Well, yeah. And there are people who do that. There's a fair number of artists that have gotten into the movement. And it's not like they live in a tiny house, and they also have, say a barn as a studio or some other space where they can spread out and be creative that they don't have to live in. And sometimes it's also the biggest problem for artists is you end up in an area, and especially if you're renting, and you end up having to go for a second or third or whatever number size in bedrooms space just to have that workspace. Just to have somewhere to shove all your materials. And then you're still at that disadvantage if what you do is messy, or as our friend Mark, if you're in a situation where you have a kiln, that takes up a lot of space. That totally changes where you're looking to live. You don't just put a kiln in a spare bedroom and call it a day. Your local fire marshal is going to have some things to say about your 220-volt kiln. They don't get happy about that. I'm assuming it's 220 volt. It may be even higher than that. I know that it's an electric kiln. I know that it's super powerful. Every place he has lived, he has had to get an electrician to come in, and then it becomes a series of issues. You've got to hire the electrician, but before you can hire the electrician to do it, you have to have a landlord that will let you do it because you're modifying the property. Some landlords are like, I don't even want to hear it. Especially if you're trying to have like your home studio set up. And it is. It puts a lot of pressure on someone.
Right.
But, yeah.
And it does.
It is. And then there's,
even with, even with like down, when I bought the townhouse, the only reason I went for a townhouse was it had a full basement. I could go with that.
That's lovely.
I had the biggest office in town. We actually had 3 offices in there.
Oh, nice.
Same thing here, too.
We have somehow crammed 3 offices into this house. I don't know how.
Well, it's because this house was, is a little larger. If it was a modern day house, oh, honey, we would have to have, we would have just knocked out the back wall. Forget fixing the bathroom.
Well, no,
It'll become a closet.
Actually, if you're talking about new construction, though, that's also been part of the tiny house movement, is pointing out, while this house is definitely way bigger than something that would have been built 20, 30, 40, 50 years before it, compared to what started hitting the market in the 80s, 90s, and beyond, this is a tiny starter home. This is what this would be listed at, is a small starter home. That's all. This would be intended for 2 adults and a newborn at worst. Because what people are what has come out of this is the McMansion, and which is the antithesis of a tiny house, is the polar opposite. The McMansion with the 4 bedrooms, 2 offices, a 3-car garage, a formal dining room, an eat-in kitchen, a living room, a den, a family room, 4 bathrooms.
Right. Who needs
blah,
that?
blah, 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 blah. A lot of people want it.
Yeah, but who needs that? A formal dining room.
Yeah, there's a lot of things people think they'll do when they have a bigger house. And it's a dream, it's a thought, it's a theory, it's a belief system that you'll use all these things. That if only you had a full, a formal dining room, and it doesn't mean it has to be formal. But if you had your dining room was a room and you could have 20 people over, you think of all the parties you would have. The reality is you get a house that big, and unless you have the income to afford a maid, you throw one party and go, never again. Because
not even
the reality
one maid, if you want to get me a maid, I ain't ever going to complain about that one, unless she can't do freaking windows. We'll get onto that one another day. But it's like, come on, can you not, in most houses today, you cannot see the dining room table. Most people eat in the living room, which drives me nuts. But
when you look at a 50 or 30s, 40s, 50s tract home concept, the biggest thing then was the TV dinner and the tray tables in front of the television, and you would sit there and watch your favorite television shows while eating dinner, and there was a pushback from that led to the, we're going to turn off the TV and sit down as a family and eat a meal. That somehow grew from an eat-in kitchen to having both an eat-in kitchen and a dining room. And it's kind of gone all over the place. Ultimately ending at the point that we got to the big giant house, and funny thing, in order to have that McMansion, that's usually 2 incomes, and you're okay if you don't have children. But once you add kids to that mix, you never get to enjoy that house. You're just constantly working to pay for it.
Right.
That's it. That's all you're doing. You're working to pay for a house you can't enjoy. Why can't you enjoy it? Because you're never there. You never clean. You don't have time. You don't feel like it. You're certainly not having people over. And ultimately, you end up with one person in a room. You're one room per person in a family. Each one goes to their own corner. And what a lot of people have pointed out is that's often kind of when that relationship started to fizzle.
Right.
You know, there's something to be said for having to kind of, in a way, one, be in each other's space. Like there's a lot of relationship building that has to go into that. And a lot of maintenance to make that work. And also being able to choose, make a hard decision that I don't want to be in your space right now, or I don't want you in mine. So that's it. I'm leaving. And not I'm leaving you, but I'm physically leaving this space. You stay here or go do whatever you want. I don't care, but I've hit my limit of us time. You go do something, I go do something, we go do something separately. And not just be able to be completely alone together. As in, you're a married couple with this McMansion, and you barely pass each other. You could easily forget you're there with someone. At that point, a lot of people start to question, why are we together? I really do. I think a large contributing factor to divorces and relationships that fall apart comes with square footage. The bigger the house, the more likely it is to happen.
Right. The more likely it is to not see each other.
Yeah. Well, and to start to drift apart and do things separately because you can. You don't have to be in the same room. You don't have to share the space. You can easily go to your own corner. And after a while, I think some relationships fall apart simply because of it. That, that's it. I'm living just fine without you.
And, I think that that's also why, and you see this a lot in TV shows, but you also hear this from couples. They had a better marriage when they lived in that one bedroom or studio apartment and barely had money to make it through the day.
Well, one is there's a lot of relying on each other in the financial aspect, as well as you're physically in each other's way constantly. So you have to, you really have to, at some point, make your peace with another person's existence. If you don't have another room to go to, or you barely have another room to go to, at some point, you're going to sink or swim. You either make your peace with that fact, or you end the relationship because you can't deal with this crap anymore. Like, screw you and your toothpaste problems. Why can't an adult human being put a cap back on the toothpaste? And you break up, or you make your peace with it and move on. Now, at the, and go your separate ways. But when you're in a house of a certain size and beyond, you don't have to choose. You can just be, which is supposedly the upside, but the downside is you know something's not working. You don't know what it is. And it's not like you're clueless. Like, you know there's issues there. But you can blindly go along for many years. Paying the mortgage, working overtime, barely passing each other in the hallway, before it's finally like, why am I here? Why are you here? Why are we here? What are we doing? Because it doesn't seem like we do all that much. We have separate bedrooms. We live on different sides of the house. We barely see each other. And we're stressed out. The credit cards are maxed out. Because and you get a 3,000 plus square foot house that also comes with the expectation, now you have to fill it up. Chairs and tables and lamps and pictures and right on down the list. And so it's not just the mortgage, it's the credit cards and the, home equity lines of credit. And then the bathrooms, because now you have multiple. Each one develops its own separate sets of problems and right on down the line. And so more house, more money. It was supposed to make you happy. And no, it's just more reasons to fight. It's more problems.
More reasons.
It's more aggravation.
It is. And it's more furniture and crap and things you have to own. Well,
that then also tear up.
Yeah. So you have to replace them.
Which just perpetuates that cycle. Once you hit, and I think it's roughly right in that, like, I would say roughly 2,500 to 3,000 square foot range. Once you start getting into that zone, I think a lot of people that it's like your relationship is going to get tested right here. Yeah, you can afford to buy the house. Yeah, space seems great. Yeah, it is an investment. But now you have to clean it. Now you have to put stuff in it. Now you've got to pay that mortgage, and it's, everything is bigger, including all of the expenses for all of the problems, because that list didn't get shorter suddenly. It just got longer. It's not going to be cheaper. So now not only do you have this great big house to pay for, but you have all the stuff. And all the stuff to dust and take clean and to clean up.
And, I remember back when, and we were talking about this a couple days ago, that, that we were talking about how TVs used to take up half the physical space of a room. And it's, and they were smaller, and, everyone wanted this huge, big screen TV. Everyone wanted a big screen, 52, 72-inch, theater screen TV. Now, most people watch their television on a 3x6 screen?
At best, yeah. Lots of cell phones and tablets. Yeah. Lots of cell phones and tablets to view content. And meanwhile, we're actually in an age, and if nothing else, our move proved it, we would have had a spare television or two. We could have put a television in the bathroom, could have thrown one into the kitchen.
No and no.
Thankfully, we haven't. Yeah, thankfully we didn't. But we could have. I mean, literally, you could sit in any room in this house and watch television. And yet even we will sit here and end up watching stuff on our phones.
And it's the same dang stuff. We figured this out the other day because I watch a lot of stuff on the computer. I am still a computer. I still think that one of those televisions can be a great monitor, especially for my new desk.
Mm-hmm.
Mounted on a wall, there are studs there.
Mm-hmm.
Use your stud finder. And I'm not talking me.
Think you have my own stud? But we, and I'm like, can we just start watching freaking YouTube together? It'll save us time and research for the show. Yeah.
So why don't we take a break and pay the power bill? And when we come back, let's kind of talk about a few other things that have been going on that have been a little bit like, okay, this is interesting. So we'll be right back, guys.
You're listening to The Magic Happens Radio Network, sponsored by The Magic Happens magazine. You'll find us at www.themagichappens.com.
Hi, welcome, relax, have a cup of your favorite topics with your hosts Aeson Knight and Rain Love. There's nothing like a good conversation to warm your soul and give your spirit a break now and then. Aeson and Love have such a wonderful way of exploring topics like psychic phenomena, important topics in our daily lives from a psychic's point of view, and you never know who else will stop by, live on Blog Talk Radio. So come on in. We made a fresh cup of Java just for you.
At the Crystal Lotus, we offer a variety of amazing services, whether it's partaking in a massage, Reiki session, or the various energy modalities, taking advantage of psychic reading, browsing the library, or shopping for metaphysical supplies. They also offer yoga classes and holistic life coaching. Located at 89 Old Main Plaza, or phone 304-729-8055. Crystal Lotus, taking the spirit where the body cannot go.
Did you know that you can have a reading with Aeson in person, or you can reach him by phone, chat, or even text message? You should really check out his site, aesonite.com, or give him a call. His number is 304-584-3592.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human. And she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Hi, I'm Rain.
And this is Raven Wind, and we're the Feather and Bone Podcast, two witches talking about everything witchy and nothing at all. We consider ourselves to be energy-based spiritualists, non-traditionalists, and decidedly not Wiccan. Our views on magic and life in general don't align with other pagans in the community, but we have a live and let live outlook on life. So if you want to learn something new while laughing a whole lot, you can find links to our podcast, Facebook page, products, and purchase tarot readings at featherandbone.net.
Are you looking for loving, caring, spiritual answers? Then you need to give Rainey a call. Her number is 303-416-2977. She's able to give you a reading, see what your life path holds, plus what the angels and crossover loved ones has to say about it. Visit PsychicRainyLove.com for more details. And remember, Rainy spelled R-A-I-N-E.
Do you like a little more grrr with your coffee? Then tune in to Mountain Bears here on Blog Talk on Friday nights at 9 p.m. for the latest in LGBT topics, current events, and technology. Every Friday night we'll be here. Join us as the Mountain Bears explore these topics and more.
You're listening to the Magic Happens Radio Network, sponsored by the Magic Happens magazine. You'll find us at www.themagichappens.com.
Well, welcome back. Please check out our sponsors, Pay Our Power Bill guys. And some of our sponsors are really cool, really good, totally supportive of the shows. And, sponsors a lot of times give you problems, like, oh, you can't talk about this, or I don't want a brand associated with that. Ours don't give a damn. They haven't told us, because I told any sponsor we get, any product we try, whatever, I tell them they're going to get it as I see it. If they don't like it, well, sorry, it didn't fit your marketing guidelines.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at USA Today, and it had a really interesting article.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. That, we are not, for a very long time, I've always said we are the minority of gays. We live in less, by God, lost our life, Virginia.
Yeah, but it turns out nearly 4 million LGBTQ people live in rural America, and everything is not biased and awful. Or so says USA Today. Yes, and that was 2 days ago. They published that one. And this is a headline based on a report by the Movement Advancement Project. And it looks like 4.5% of us, so still a minority in a minority, don't congregate on the coast or in major cities. So,
and that's a theological change.
Yeah, it's 4.5% of adults and 10% of youth, just to go ahead and finish the quote out. But yeah, we are the minority still, but at the same time, it's not that, and this is a big thing they point out, it's not that it's all bias and awful. It isn't. And I've been surprised with the move, and with where I'm living now in general. Like, we haven't run into any issues. Certainly not the kinds of ones that I would have expected where I was living before. That, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't too sure how this would go because I actually moved to an area that I think is technically smaller. I think it's technically smaller.
We are.
Now I have to go look. I do. So, yeah. Let me see what our comparison is between where I moved from, with about almost 6,000 people, to where I moved to. Actually, no.
Really?
No, it's bigger. It's bigger.
Oh, wow.
Yes, by like 2,000 people.
Yeah, but honey, look at where they're including that.
Oh,
actually closer to 3.
Yeah.
But, they're including, parts of that are not Oakhill.
Okay, wasn't going to say that, but all right.
Honey,
I
it's
thought
public.
we weren't saying that. Okay.
It's public.
All right,
It's been
so,
public.
yeah. Okay, fine. I moved from Princeton to Oak Hill. And and I'm sorry, I'm looking at the little micropolitan area that they called Princeton. And, they're including a lot in that isn't, like, technically what I would call Princeton either. So, it's still bigger. Population-wise, it's still bigger. And we're right next to the gorge.
Right.
Which streams a lot of people through here. I mean,
Yeah.
So with that
sounds
said,
cute what you said at dinner tonight.
What's going on?
What opened
what
today?
Is there? Yeah, what opened today? Well, okay, so let's pause a second. So, where we are, we end up going over to the next little town because it has more stuff to get dinner. So we're sitting in one of our favorite restaurants over there, and this is closer to the gorge. And I just keep noticing the dudes, because I'm that boyfriend, noticing the dudes that are in this restaurant, and I finally just had to look at him and be like, what opened today? And he's like, what? I said, no, seriously, what opened today? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, there's a lot of really skinny little people that don't look like they're from here in this buffet restaurant. Because we're bears, we go to buffets. And he kind of looks around and he's like, oh, whitewater rafting. That opened today. I'm like, thought so. Thought it had to be something. Because these look like very outdoorsy, at least Weekend Warrior outdoorsy people.
That don't know how to eat. I will just say that. They do not know how to eat. Those boys' plates needed to be filled up a little more.
Yeah. They were getting enough exercise walking back and forth from the table. It really just kind of killed the whole process. But it's like, oh, sweetie, I got more than that on my first plate. And that was navigating around the mother and child who couldn't figure out what they wanted. So I was like, I'll get it on the second plate. But yeah, I was looking around this restaurant and I'm like, yeah, these aren't our normal cohorts. This is a different group. These are not the normals. Because I'm sorry, they're these were little skinny, bearded dudes in their, 20s. People who don't have enough sense not to go down a river.
Or rock climb.
April.
Or rock climb in April. They're going to get frozen tonight in cabins.
Yeah, it's going to be cold. I don't care how cold they get tonight. They'll be fine. They'll survive. Tomorrow, there's going to be a large group of people going, I regret my life choices right this second. Because there's no way that water is warm enough to be anywhere near. There's no way. There's no way that water is going to be anything other than flipping freezing.
Right. Yeah. It's like what? It's going to be like, oh goodness. We went to West Virginia and froze ourselves to death. It's April. Come back in August when the water actually feels warm.
Yeah. Because because it's getting down to 48 tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's gonna be fun when they hit the river in the morning. Because it's gonna be in the morning. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. These are granola people.
Yeah.
They get up before we even think about getting up to pee. Yes.
You get up to pee, honey. I haven't even gone to bed yet, and they're getting out of bed.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just this is gonna be funny. This is gonna be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. We should find where the outlet is and just go stand there with a camera and take pictures of their freezing little skinny butts getting out of the water. Like, cold. Like, that's what you get for being healthy.
Well, we could go and sell, hot cocoa to them. And the first time someone asked me if it's vegan, I want to say it's cocoa.
Yes, it's been ethically sourced from my pantry in Swiss Miss.
Imported straight from Switzerland. But no, what we were saying is, and you expected a lot of problems here.
Well, sorry.
And it's like, no, we've been past that for ages now.
Well, it's not that I
other than the
expected a lot
one
of problems.
problem
Let me correct.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't expecting a lot of problems. It was more so I've been kind of expecting them. Because I already had, the list of things that it's like, no, we ain't doing that in Princeton. Like, we are not doing that. Nope. There's only so out I'm willing to be. And, basically I've been following the leader on this since we moved, and I'm like, okay, whatever, like, whatever you're comfortable with, well, I'll follow along. And I was very surprised. Even this evening, we're at Big Lots and we're joking around. And I forget what it was you found. And I was like, oh, God, this is so bad. We were in the clearance section at Big Lots. And you found the dice. You were like so excited about it. Like, try rolling this one. And I'm like, really? You want to give me a weapon? And there's this girl at the end cap who just like cracked up. Yeah. And it's like, okay, whatever.
That's not what she cracked up over.
Oh. Did I miss something?
Yes. She cracked over the side. I said, do I really need to buy this?
Oh, no.
The one that says, I will and do what I want.
Well, actually, it said, I can and I will. And I was like, yeah, we already know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No questions. But, yeah.
Right.
So it has been, it's been kind of, I don't know, it's been different. And I think some of it for me is working out just because I didn't grow up here. I really don't know that many people here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have the 80s experience here because 80s in Princeton, kind of crazy. 90s in Princeton, kind of crazy. Early 2000s, still a little crazy. It's still awkward there.
Right. And here, it's not really that awkward. Of course, here, the difference between Princeton and here is I will look at a person and say, if you have an issue, parking lot's out there. I don't mind explaining how to fix your issue. out there. You're not that type.
I would say more of the thing here, though. More of the thing here. From what I can tell, the population's also a little bit younger. Like, Princeton, there are so many nursing homes. It is a very older population.
Well,
I know. I'm not saying that this is
right.
necessarily like babies, but
no.
Yeah, there's a fair. Well, and then you've got the gorge stuff, and that drags in a lot of younger people. Anyway,
right.
So I'm sure the areas had to kind of like go with the flow, like just this is how we make our money. Like, get over it, move on, deal.
Well, and
these people are paying to go rafting.
Yeah, but we've worked hard. The 23 of us, I believe it is. We've worked hard. They've gotten very used to us because we're the ones that had to come back and be caregivers. So you're going to love us and our boyfriend. And if you don't like it, well, guess what? My mother knows your mother, and she will have a conversation with your mother.
Yeah. So I'll just sit back over here.
And enjoy my coffee.
Oh, well, there is that. Oh, but no. No, I was just kind of, like, I didn't know what to expect, and I've been pleasantly surprised.
Well, good. And Thurman was one of the first cities in West Virginia to pass the non-discrimination agreement. Beckley recently done it with hard work from the pagan community. And, I will say this, we got early exposure. And here's what I mean by that.
Okay.
And you'll understand the places that I've told you. You can order these for me. You can order these for this other person. In this town, if you wanted your hair done in the 90s, there was only one shop you would dare go to. The man is now 70 years old, still does hair him and his doctor friend, who was the only orthopedics in town, moved very nicely to Myrtle Beach at the sadness of many of the older ladies in this town. If you needed to go to the orthopedist because you broke your hip, you went to see his best friend, now his lover. If you wanted to take Spanish in this town, the only teacher that taught Spanish was, very much fully into Spanish and antiquing. We make our money off of antiques because we were left with a bunch of old stuff. And that's just how it was in this town, is because if you didn't have a choice, if you were going to do business, if you didn't want to do business with a gay man in this town or a lesbian in this town, you're screwed. Go to Beckley. Go to another town. If you want your flowers delivered on time, you better call the nice gay man. And these are the 80s and 90s. And I think that's the difference between a small town and a town trying to be a big city.
Yeah. Well, and with Princeton, I think the bigger issue is we got railroaded people out of town. Now, not that some of them were undeserving. Somehow the southern part of the state really just did not get the cream of the crop here. There were a lot of bad apples in that bunch, and Yeah, a few got railroaded out, like either out of town or at least out of polite company.
Mm-hmm.
The elementary school gym teacher who ended up with apparently a very bad case of syphilis and killed his lover, I believe. Yeah, not a shining example. No, not a shining. That, by the way, was a former student.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That doesn't look good. I know that it has been a big struggle and push and problem for teachers, especially anyone in academics, to be out because there's so many people making that, but what about the children? Argument? Yeah. He didn't do anyone any favors. Like, that couldn't have looked worse if it tried.
Right.
It's like, Like, bad example. The one gay hairdresser that I knew of in town apparently had a bit of a drug problem, ended up closing a shop and selling drugs out of the shop.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Again, bad example. So Southern West Virginia, with reason, it's still not there. It's still having a moment. It's still struggling with the concept because there have been so many bad apples that hit that area.
Right.
But that's
and
also
that's
Southern West Virginia. And, well, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's the whole Southern West Virginia issue. Because in that, you end up with McDowell, Wyoming, in addition to Mercer County. So looking at that picture, to be fair, and not necessarily totally trash McDowell County or Wyoming County, there's just not a lot going on there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a short list of reasons that people live in those two counties.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them have to do with they're either stuck or they're probably not real nice people.
Right.
I mean, it's one of the two, because poverty and crime run rampant.
Mm-hmm.
For the communities as sized as they are. It's a great place to go get lost. Literally. In every sense of the word.
Mm-hmm.
And that also becomes, McDowell especially, your nearest everything in that county is on the other side of the Mercer-McDowell County line.
Right.
It's where you buy your groceries. It's where you go to Walmart. It's where you get your car. It's where you get your car serviced. It's where you do everything. It's where you go to the hospital. Unless you need a Band-Aid. Still takes 45 minutes to get there, but worth it.
Uh-huh.
So, with that as an influence, it's kind of, it hasn't really fed well into being like, hi, we're here and we're beautifying the neighborhood. It's more like we're here and we're on, the police blotter section.
Right.
Understandably. People are a little leery on that one. Southern West Virginia got a bad shake on that. Like, we didn't send in good gays. We sent bad gays.
Well, they were the ones we didn't want.
Well, yeah.
We just kept pushing them south.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. But no,
that totally made our lives
town,
easier.
Huh? Yeah, it makes our lives a lot easier.
No, not when you're from there. Does not help.
No.
Does not want.
Right. But the other thing is I've always, well, I won't say always, but when I came back from Columbus, it was like, yeah, the days of me being nice and kind and, I'm going to look like the preacher's son, the days of, I'm going to act in a certain way just to make your friends happy is over. If I'm selling my house to come back and take care of you, I'm coming back as me.
Yeah.
And that's a different view of things.
Right. And when I moved back, it was a little different. This was I left North Carolina thinking, well, the economy's a little tight right now. I'm sure this will just be temporary. Maybe 6 months. 8 years later.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. That was, so I came back in a temporary mindset. I came back with, I think the biggest thing that I lost in that move was anonymity, which I'd gotten really used to. Like, because there was this process moving from West Virginia to North Carolina where my brain would still kick over, like, it would try to find people in a crowd. Like, you expect to know people. Like, you live in a small town, you expect when you go out, you will run across people you know. Either by proximity to where they work or proximity to where they live or, this is the grocery store, whatever. You expect you're going to run into people you know.
Right.
To move to North Carolina, it drove me crazy for the longest time. I would keep seeing people I thought I knew, and then I would have to remind myself, no, you're not in Princeton. There's no way that's them. Then I moved back.
Right.
That part of my brain that made all those little connections had been turned off for so long, almost 10 years, that I had problems adjusting to moving back because I do know people. I was back in my hometown. I do know these people. I'm potentially related to these people. And I'm just oblivious. Like, my brain has gotten used to being anonymous. I'm just another face in the crowd. You don't know me.
Right.
I'd gotten used to that. I'd really gotten used to that. And then all of a sudden people are like, hey, Joe. Hey, Joe. And I'm suddenly, like 15 calls later, like, oh, God, they mean me. Like, I'd gotten to the point I just quit listening to my own name.
Right.
And then I moved back, and then I suddenly get presented with, like, this never-ending stream of people I went to high school with, moms of people I went to high school with, teachers I had in high school, family members, people I used to live next door to. Yeah. It's like I'm just trying to go to Walmart. I don't want to know people right now. I didn't dress to run into people I know. I dressed to go to Walmart. Ratty t-shirt, crappy shorts, tore up flip-flops. I look like a homeless people. This is not when I want to run into people I know. Like, have some decency and respect that. Don't you people know?
Then you get with me and we go to Walmart, and it is a 4-hour affair.
Yes. How's your mother? How's your mother?
Uh-huh.
Your mama doing good?
How's your father? About drives me crazy.
Still dead. Next question.
Still on the organ. Yes.
Or the CB radio. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you get it, and I get you that you get it. But at the same time, that was the biggest thing for me, was coming back from anonymity. I had learned to love the concept. I didn't, like, I would go to Walmart in the middle of the day on Saturday looking like a disaster from the night before, and I never thought twice about it. I moved back to Princeton within a month. I had to shower, put on clean clothes, and look like I knew what I was doing with my life just to go to Walmart. I was like, I miss my anonymity. I used to be able to look like garbage and not care. Like, I didn't. Like, I would go and just go to Walmart, grab the crap I needed. There was no, let me stop, assess the situation, take a shower, put on clean clothes. Now I can go to Walmart because God only knows how many people I'm going to run into and how long it's been since I last saw them. And, I hated it. I hated it. It is.
And and then you get with me, and it's like, no, you're not wearing that to Walmart.
Yeah, I know. I've had to have whole conversations with you about that. Like, no, you're not allowed to wear that in public.
And I'm like, what? And you're like, clients go to Walmart. Okay.
Yep. Sorry. Like, you will you will adapt. You will be assimilated. It's like, no, seriously, I will run into people. It was almost as bad as having to explain to you why we wear pants in the house, and you didn't believe me.
I am glad that is over with.
Yep. You didn't. I tried to explain you cannot live near a hospital and not constantly expect when someone in the family or a family friend has someone in the hospital that they will not stop by. They're going to stop by. Why? We've developed this over decades in this family. Well, if you're at the hospital and you need anything, you just come on over. I'm always home. Just come on over. So it means randomly the doorbell rings and you're expected to have a pot of coffee ready to go on and be wearing clothes. Ready for the day. Whatever the day shall bring you.
And see, I don't know how you got through that with caregiving.
Actually,
like,
that used to work out pretty decent.
That was the first rule I put into place. Was, no, you are not allowed to stop by our house unless you call first.
Oh, no. Now, with one caveat, my only, please call first was with people who intended, like family members who intended to spend the night. It's like, hold up there, buddy. Like, there are some things that go into that. I need some advance warning because I got to work some things in. Like, I will, I had some, I made some concessions As the bedroom doors all close, I've got to keep the bathroom, the living room, the front room, and the kitchen clean.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Right.
And I could handle that on a daily basis for the most part. And if it wasn't perfect, it just wasn't perfect. But decent enough. Like, people aren't going to leave and be like, oh, my Lord. You know.
Well, you know, but I think me and you had two different situations. I had church ladies showing up with food. I had people Dad had preached their freaking wedding for showing up with food. I had people showing up to visit and get spiritual guidance from my father who's trying to get through chemo. It wasn't just family coming by. That was just half the battle.
Yeah, it wasn't just family on our side of it either. There were friends and you know, people like that. Yeah. And it was actually good for her. That was the thing, is it was actually good for her, and to some degree it was really good for me. It gave her something else to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it put her in a better mood. She was always a people person. She loved having people come over. It always brightened her mood. And there were days, honestly, if that person hadn't have come over, or like if no one had come over that day, I don't know how we would have made it. Because there were days where I was hitting the wall of like, I can't do this crap anymore. I'm done. I'm gonna go get in my car and I'm gonna sit in the driveway and I'm gonna call and let them know that there is a neglected old person, because I'm about to pull out the driveway, who needs care and attention that I can't give anymore. That were afforded. Yeah, like I had hit the wall that day. I was having the moment. I was about to have the breakdown. And just having someone come over and change her mood because they showed up, you know, and she had a thing to talk about. That was the only thing that saved that situation. Like that's okay. I can deal now. Like, you know, we started this day on a really rocky footing, and I had it. But okay, this day got better. I can breathe now. We can do this.
Right.
And there were people that literally, I don't think we'll ever realize you showed up at the exact perfect moment. Because the next stop was, I'm calling the state and I'm leaving. I'm done. I can't do it.
Right.
You know, and which kind of goes into our other topic. Yeah, caregivers have that moment. It is. It's just there. Sometimes you hit that wall. It's not like you hate the person. It's just, I'm not built for this. No one is. And you hit that point where it's like, I can't.
Right. Well, and we have two different experiences. Your grandmother, you know, had Alzheimer's. My father about cancer. The two different experiences for that is, you know, I'm doing everything I can to keep him hydrated and attempting to get the food in him and making doctor's appointments and dealing with home health care and dealing with this doctor surgery, this thing. And, you know, him throwing up at this sight, the smell of food. Like, your office used to be my dining room when we were going through chemo and radiation. And, you know, when they go through that, they don't want clothes on. You know, because they are roasting. or they are freezing, and it may change throughout the day.
Well, yeah, and I do understand that because well, back in the 80s, my grandfather diagnosed with cancer, had oral surgery, his tongue was removed, it was esophageal cancer, and so he ended up with a feeding tube, and I know the first thing my grandmother did was she moved the toaster oven out to the garage, and she literally ate all her meals out there because she couldn't bring herself to eat in front of it.
Right.
Because he's on a feeding tube. And I know one of my things as a kid that I don't know, it's not like I got in trouble for. I think it was one of the things the adults had a struggle with, though.
Right.
Because he's on a feeding tube and it was his birthday. And, you know, it's his birthday. He gets cake and ice cream. I was like 8. And, you know, they're trying to explain to me that he can't have cake and ice cream. He can't eat it. And I'm like, I'm not stupid. I understand he doesn't have a tongue. He can't swallow. I get this. He has a feeding tube, and what's the difference between a milkshake made out of cake and ice cream and the stuff you're putting in the tube? At which point, I got one of those looks that adults give children. When it's like, why didn't I think of this? You know, why did the 8-year-old just have to tell me the most obvious thing in the world? That nutritionally, functionally, there's really no difference between what I'm about to mix up and put in that feeding tube and a little bit of chocolate cake and some ice cream and some milk. Nutritionally, it's almost the same. It's not going to hurt him.
No.
Well.
No, actually it wouldn't. Bolus feeding it to him wouldn't have hurt him. Actually probably done him well because that tube crap, and I'm sorry, it's tube crap, that stuff is nasty. Nasty. Bolus feeding is terrible. Yes, I have a nursing background. I've done many boluses. I would have preferred throwing milk and food in a blender. So that's what he did. That's what we did. There was a quick rush to go buy him a cake. So we all sat and had cake and ice cream. And I think it was the first time anyone had eaten in front of him, or that he had been part of a meal, probably in a little while. But it was just that moment when I said it that everyone's looking at me like, okay, not a stupid kid, and he actually, he just realized something that we should have processed. This is not impossible. This can actually be done. This is very doable. Some of that, though, and I understand better now. One, I wasn't a caregiver. Not in the sense of, I wasn't there 24 hours a day managing and handling and dealing. Part one, so, I'm a step back at least from the situation. And part two is some of this is just stuff that you, as that caregiver, don't have an opportunity to really stop and think about. Right.
And sometimes that's one of the biggest annoyances as a caregiver. Is it's honestly, there's this moment in caregiving where you would swear you've gone down a few IQ points. And most likely you have. It's called exhaustion and fatigue and compassion fatigue, and there's a whole lot of lovely names for it. But all of it taken together is you start just trying to survive the days. You know, I don't want to think. I just want to go on autopilot. I just want to make it through. You know, we were up till 3 a.m. last night. I was back up at 6 this morning. You know, I just can't even right now. There's not enough coffee to even.
Right.
And with that, you do start to just, you don't want to think. You just kind of want to survive.
Right.
And that's sometimes the worst part of it, because people will say things and your gut reaction is, shut up, I know what I'm doing, I do this every day. Followed by, oh God, that actually makes sense and can be done, and I just totally jumped someone over it. I'm sorry. And, you know, now I feel stupid because why didn't I think about that? I'm the one doing it every day. I should have known. You can't. And you can't. It's two camps in one. One is, no, you just can't even some days, and no, you really can't. Like, the critical thinking part of your brain ends up having to switch off. Because the rest of the story is, you're dealing with a situation where if you sit there and you think critically about all the things that may happen or could be possible in this situation, you will go crazy. But
yes.
On that note, we're out of time.
We are. And that's kind of a little surprising. It went really fast. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. And we will be back next Friday with another one. And let's see what else is going on. Next Saturday, we are going to be in Parkersburg, West Virginia at the Carnival. And Tuesday, we will be back at the Psychic Coffee Shop on the Psychic Coffee Shop. So until then, good night, y'all, and sweet dreams.
Good night.
Night, JoJo.
Did you know that